Hey everyone, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today we're here to chat about my book club pick for September. So let's get into it. If you don't know, I have a book club over on Patreon, and every month together we read a themed book together. So I pick the theme, I get a bunch of books that relate to that theme, I dwindle it down to 2, and then my Patreons pick the book that we're going to read for that month. And then we all read it together, and I do a very spoiler-filled vlog of the book that we've chosen. I had so much fun doing that for the August pick, which was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, I loved it. Spoiler, I loved that book so much. New favorite horror book of all time. Yes. So I should tell you what the theme is for September. The theme is immigration and the immigration experience. So I have 6 books that I need to talk to you about here, all about the immigration experience. And then I need to dwindle it down to 2, which is going to be hard, but let's do this. The first book I want to talk to you about is Homefire by Kamala Shamsi. First of all, this cover. Like one of the most beautiful books on my shelves, no doubt. This follows Isma, and when her mother died, she essentially became in charge of her 2 younger siblings. She has a sister and a brother. However, she also has her own ambitions, and when a mentor reaches out to her and says, I want you to come to America, I think to study, she agrees to, but she's just racked with fear for her younger sister, and in particular her brother. Her brother ended up pursuing his own dream to prove himself to the dark legacy of their jihadist father, who he actually never knew. And so she's terrified for him while also adjusting to living in America, and it just sounds absolutely wonderful. So that's the first option, Homefire. And the next book is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And this follows 2 lovers who are separated. They were madly in love in military-ruled Nigeria, and they both decide to immigrate west. One of them ends up in London and the other ends up in America. And it's about their experiences immigrating to these areas and the different experiences that they have. And it sounds absolutely wonderful. I've only heard good things about this book, and I've never read Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie fiction. I've only read her like tiny little non-fictions, which have had great impact on me. So this is another option, Americana. Next is The Lowland by Jhumpa Lahiri. This won the Pulitzer Prize. I just noticed that it's just hidden away at the bottom. Does that mean that she won the Pulitzer Prize or that this book won the Pulitzer Prize? Unclear. This is a family saga, a sweeping family saga, and it follows a group of people, 2 brothers who are torn apart by tragedy. It follows a country torn apart by revolution, and it moves from the 1960s all the way to present day, and we're kind of all over the place in here, from India to America and across generations, but the immigration experiences does happen, I think, from India to America. So I've never read Jhumpa Lahiri before, and I would be very glad to finally read her because she's raved about. She is so raved about. So there's The Lowland. Next is Brooklyn. This follows a young woman who moves from Ireland to America. In particular, she moves to Brooklyn in the 1950s. And she misses her family so desperately, and she ends up moving to this area where there's a bit of a boarding house with women there, and she lives with these women, and she does meet a man when she goes there. I love the movie of Brooklyn so much. I don't know why it's taken me so long to, like, I've had this on my shelves for a good long time and I've never picked it up. But yeah, we could read Brooklyn. The next book that we could read is Small Island by Andrea Levy. This takes place in the late 1940s, just after World War II, and we follow a Jamaican man who had fought against Hitler and are returning home to England to not the greatest homecoming. Not the greatest homecoming at all. There's a lot of racism that they deal with. And our main character, Gilbert, encourages his wife to immigrate from Jamaica to England, and she gets there and she's expecting a much different thing, a much different place. She finds it to be shabby, far from the city of her dreams, and she's not comfortable there. Also, she's coming back to a man that she hasn't known for many years because they've lived apart and he's been at war, and there's a difference there. And so it's about her experience moving to London from Jamaica. And that sounds fantastic too. Next is A Bridge Across the Ocean by Susan Meissner. This is about a group of women in 1946. World War II is over, and they are all moving to America. It's a group of women, but we follow two women in particular. One of them was a German ballerina, and she's desperate to escape her past, and the other was the wronged daughter of a French resistance spy. So they are on a ship called the RMS Queen Mary, and they're going to America to meet their husbands. It says they're being reunited with their American husbands, but they're going there to meet their husbands and move from France and Germany to America. And apparently only one of them ends up getting off of the ship. Like, what? Which one? That just got a little bit of a mystery to it. It sounds great, and I really like her writing. So there is that as well. Okay, now I have the duty of dwindling it down to 2, and then my patrons have to choose which one. Okay, so I have chosen, my Patreons get to pick from Americana and also Brooklyn. 2 very different vibes. I would be happy to read both of these. Well, obviously I'd be happy to read any of the books that I talked about, but there is something about both of these books that I've been really wanting to reach for lately. So it's totally up to my patrons now to choose between either Americana or Brooklyn, and I'll let you know what they end up choosing in my September TBR. I'm so excited to read either of those books, I have to tell you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you liked the theme of immigration. I think it's so interesting and important, and the more we, I think, get to understand the immigration experience, I think the more empathetic we become, and so I'm excited. I hope you're doing well. In the description box below, you'll find my Goodreads page, my Patreon page. If you want to join us in picking which book we choose, and if you want to join us in reading one of these books, I mean, head on over to my Patreon and you're welcome to join. I will talk with you soon. Bye, guys.